Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion today. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm really kind of excited to have a talk today on post-traumatic wisdom. And I've done a lot of, actually recently too, a lot of talks, keynotes and talks on trauma and stuff, and we talk about the stigma, which I think has gotten loads better. It's still there for sure. We have a ways to go, and it's getting better to a place where it's becoming more normalized, and I mean that in a way of maybe more. Obviously, it's not okay to do bad things to people. That's not what I mean, but normalized in the sense that it's becoming more acceptable to have the conversation instead of shying away like, oh no, it's too intense, overshare, she's getting so deep. It's becoming more accepted to really share our stories and be met with compassion instead of a brick wall. It's better. And also, Marty Seligman, who I adore, father of positive psychology, actually started this thing, post-traumatic growth, I think back in the 70s, because it was, back then you went to counseling and it was like this search and destroy mission. Like, you go in, find what's wrong, find out where the hole in your soul is, fill it, fix it, label it, medicate it, and send you out the door. That's versus, and I'll be clear, disclaimer, medication and counseling all are very good. I'm talking about the attitude about it, you know what I mean? And the attitude about it was more like, there was a stigma with it. It's like, you're weak, you're crazy, whatever. Instead of looking at the strengths-based approach, where somebody walks in with trauma, and the therapist, now things have gotten a lot better, where they will address the things that need to be worked on, while at the same time saying, give yourself some credit for getting up, getting dressed, getting out the door, and getting here today. Many people wouldn't be able to, things like that, and meeting people where they are, and that has gotten so much better. And I guess so the post-traumatic growth thing is huge. And it's taken, the last few decades, thanks to Marty, to get that at least, rising into a place away from weaknesses and more towards strength-based stuff, and using the word growth instead of post-traumatic stress disorder, which I don't like that word. It's a shame word and it's stupid and it should be just deleted from every language across the globe, because it's a shame word. And if it's not enough to deal with anxiety and depression, that manifestations of trauma, right, and sometimes substance use and flashbacks and all that other stuff, who needs the word disorder? So thank you very much. I don't need to have a word slapped on there, that I'm, defective, flawed, not enough, whatever the thing with the disorder is. And now to take it a step further from post-traumatic growth into post-traumatic wisdom, I'm all about that at a fabulous 57. And thinking about it, I'm over here in the pine trees. There was a little bit of hail earlier. I'm up at the notch. I just, when I think about my own life, I didn't feel like I belonged in my family, because I didn't, and that wasn't just my imagination. I didn't, and as most of you know, I experienced physical and emotional abuse in my own immediate family frequently, and especially the emotional abuse. That was, I think, the worst, actually. And then sexual abuse outside of my immediate family, and then even when they knew about the sexual abuse as a teenager, when I told them, they did nothing. And so that was, the biggest way to say I don't love you in the world, I think. And then, of course, my mother, the infamous manic ride to the Bronx, where she told me how much easier it would be if I weren't born, and all this. My grandparents wanted to send her to Europe to get an abortion, which just stuck another knife in, because my grandmother and my grandfather were so dear to me. And just things like that. And I'm not saying this with blame. I'm saying to make the point here. I'm way past that blame point. It's simply like, it's like a skeleton without the meat on it, because you can't, the brain doesn't work like a it does work in a computer in some ways, but it doesn't in others. Because anybody who has experienced, the unwanted intrusive thoughts that can often occur from trauma, you can't just hit a delete button and they go away. It doesn't work like that. However, when you work, if anything, it's the opposite, right? They keep trying to intrude, and then when you do the work, though, because we can't just delete them. We can't just delete the memory, or like a DVD and delete it that way either. They don't get deleted. What happens, though, when you work through it, which is a wonderful feeling, is the power is taken out of the experience. There is no power in the trauma experience, or if the memories resurface, they have no more power either. It's like a skeleton without the meat. The meat's gone. It's just bones. and they have no power. Like, you can just kind of toss them to the side, and you can tell stories. You can, like, I speak around the place a lot and share these stories, and it doesn't change my day. It doesn't make me sad. It doesn't make me angry. It doesn't make me anything. It's just, here's the story. And so with post-traumatic wisdom, I have to tell you, it's amazing, because the insight into each and every one of those bad experiences is just amazing. Like, when I look back at Fabulous 57, and not that I want to relive it for sure. I don't regret's not the right word, because I didn't do that to myself, you know what I mean? But I don't wish that any of it didn't happen either, because I am so incredibly grateful for the post-traumatic growth and wisdom that has come out of each and every one of these experiences. And even the whole sexual abuse thing, which was horrible, that started when I was 6 years old up through 8th grade. And I was, you know, told not to tell, and all that classic out of grad school textbook kind of thing. And even that, I wouldn't want to relive it. And it, wow, has just brought the what it does when you work through it. You know, the empathy, the insight into yourself, the insight into other people's pain, because pain is pain. Somebody being sexually abused, you know, in Vermont or Brazil or Afghanistan or wherever, is the same shame. It's the same dirty feeling, that same filthy feeling, that same feeling like it's your fault, like you're defective, like you brought it on to yourself. That's all the same. And it's just this wonderful, the wisdom is just amazing. And then I think also, you know, obviously the empathy and being able to really see deeply into people. It's just, it's like you just got this extra lens or something. You can just really spiritually connect with people. It's amazing. I know. Anyway, I'm great. Again, I wouldn't want to relive it, although I'm beyond grateful for the growth and the wisdom that it's brought about, and my ability, my capacity for empathy and to love and to give back to the world is just so much greater because of all those experiences. It's just absolutely amazing. And another thing I think that comes along with wisdom, post-traumatic wisdom, and a lot of it, of course, is seasoned and doing the work and all of that, is courage. And I'm a big fan of courage, which of course comes from the Latin cur, which means heart. And courage is, you know, generally defined as being able to put yourself out there, really, really put yourself out there without knowing what the outcome's going to be. Sharing your story with vulnerability, not knowing how it will be received. And I can't say enough about this. And when we do that, authentically, the key is it's got to be authentic, because when we authentically share our story, which I've been doing a whole lot of the last few years related to all these topics, it's amazing what the outcome is. So many people have come up to me with saying all kinds of things, you know, nice things, and sharing their own stories, and you realize that your own relatability, you're channeling, or you know, you're channeling relatability, and you're channeling empathy and compassion, and that other people can really connect with, and it really fosters connection. And the thing is, that connection is so healing, because what we're talking about is the anti-shame campaign, because shame does not stand a chance against genuine love and compassion. It just doesn't. And that connection is what defeats the shame. So when we sort of embrace our post-traumatic wisdom, that leads to the courage, which I guess I'm saying it leads to the connection, which just shares that love. It just shares it all, and I think brings us all in some way closer together and makes us lighter. Yeah, anti-shame campaign, excellent. Post-traumatic wisdom leads to courage. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the Notch in northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.